And quite honestly, like really, that's the hill you're going to die on, is attacking me, someone who's in your country, to represent it in a positive way. You really want to come after me? Like, come on.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to the Future News Network. Today we're going to look at Piers Morgan talking with Clav, giving him the same old rundown, asked the same question a whole bunch of times, really getting after the guy, not giving him a lot of credence, not a lot of forgiveness. Gets pretty fiery here near the end. Like it a whole lot. If you like it, please hit it with a like and a subscribe, and we're going to get right into it.
Let's move on to you and Israel, because like I said in the intro, the last time we spoke was after this huge thing went down in Miami. You were in the van, they were playing this Heil Hitler song, the Kanye one, and you got a lot of flack for that. And you came on and you defended yourself to me very vigorously in that interview.
He said Kanye, not Kanye.
And I did draw a distinction personally between you and the Tates and Fuentes and these others. And I did sense in that moment you were a little uncomfortable being caught up in what happened there. And I guess that...
He was singing along. I don't know how uncomfortable he was.
At least to the obvious question, was your trip to Israel partly with all that in mind to show people that you're not anti-Semitic, as many seem to think you were?
That wasn't the entire goal for it to be like, an apology tour. I think that would almost make it sort of inauthentic if that was the thing. Like, look at
it was months later, absolutely months later, going to Tel Aviv.
Me, guys, I'm in Israel, but I would say that that's certainly the case, just based on the different things that we did there. We showed a lot of different sides of the country that might not be so well known in the mainstream, as well as on short form media, which is often a lot of people in Gen Z posting,
Clav is known for expose. He's actually an expose journalist in a lot of ways, showing the nature of the relationship between men and women, now showing things in Israel so you can see it with your own eyes and make your own distinctions.
A lot of anti-Israel stuff. Whether I believe that or not is besides the point. But I think going and doing a 13-hour raw, uncut live stream, is helpful for the entire world to see the state of the geopolitical conflict.
Except that the criticism about what you did is that you just saw a very sanitized version of what Israel would have wanted you to see. You weren't able to get, you weren't able, for example, to go into Gaza or to go into southern Lebanon or any of these areas.
He's a looks maxer. He's not like a global journalist. I mean, he did what he usually does, and he showed more than most people would and do.
Where the IDF have, committed what many people believe to be war crimes. You were in an area of Israel which, to be fair to your critics here, you could argue that you were being used as a bit of a propaganda tool on this trip, because they would want you to go back as a very influential young man.
He didn't kiss the wall. Did he kiss the wall? No, he didn't kiss the wall.
In America, they would want you to go back and say, yeah, you know what, Israel's a pretty cool place, when in fact they're involved in multiple wars that many people feel have crossed a line and become war crimes. Yeah,
well, so do we. We bomb all over the world. But do we not like America because we get up to some bad stuff across the world? No, you can still like a country and not like their practices of their government.
I'm concerned about that.
Well, listen, I don't know anything about the war, to be completely honest with you. But regardless, I did enjoy my time in the nicest hotel in all of Tel Aviv, rather than, going in the middle of an alleged war zone. So I'm not too upset about that.
Who actually organized your trip? I mean, where did the idea come from?
The idea came because one of my buddies in Mykonos was headed over there to DJ at a wedding. So we decided, hey, why not? No one's ever done a stream in Tel Aviv before. It's supposed to be this war zone going on. So, let's go check it out and see what the vibes are.
And what were the vibes that you experienced?
Well, I had actually a really good time. And if you watched my stream on Thursday, We made a house remix of one of the popular Jewish songs.
I don't know who has time to watch a 13-hour Clav live stream. That's pretty wild. That's why you see the clips.
We played it in one of the clubs. We were behind the bar bartending for a little bit, just walking around this busy strip called the Rothschild Street or something like that.
Rothschilds? What you know about the Rothschilds?
And overall, we were very well received. A lot of people were very appreciative that I went to Israel because it's not really represented in any live streams, any media, besides stuff about the war.
Are you a little naive, Clavican? I say this respectfully. Are you a little naive in saying, I know nothing about the war, and I went there to show the good side of Tel Aviv and Israel to young people because they're getting a wrong idea from TikTok? Obviously, if you remove the war from your thinking, then that's fine. But is it right? Is it not naive to just say, I haven't even bothered to look into this stuff, and then to what many people...
Clav has no obligation to be a war correspondent. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's a looksmaxer. He's a clubber. He's a bone smasher. I mean, come on. We stop making him political.
Many people think what you're doing is providing a sanitized version of a country that right now is at the epicenter of multiple wars in southern Lebanon, in Gaza, against Iran, and therefore divorcing anything to do with the war or any war from the story is naive at best, and to many people's eyes, overt propaganda for...
Do you judge the whole nation's people for the governments that wage war? I mean, that's kind of crazy. I know the IDF makes their citizens become soldiers, so in a way they are all the fighting age men culpable in that way. So you are comprised of a majority of men in that country who have done or have been a party to war crimes in one way or another. There's a point to be made there, possibly, but it's a bit of a stretch to blame the people of a nation for its government's actions.
The Israeli government, you must have been thrilled by what you've done.
Oh, well, I mean, I prefer the term blissful ignorance because it allowed me to go and have a great time without a care in the world, really. So, low cortisol lifestyle, individualism, this is always what I've talked about. So this is really nothing new, that I don't have to constantly be worried about a geopolitical crisis all the way across the globe.
Just let Clav mog, all right? All he wants to do is go around, mog, meet all the Jewish broads, have a good time, play his music on his thing or whatever. Let him have a good time. He's not there to save Israel or change your mind about it.
Did you feel that Israelis in Tel Aviv live in fear? I mean, how did you feel when you were walking around?
No, I felt like at certain points when I was walking on the boardwalk, it reminded me of some elements of Miami Beach.
Yeah, I mean, Tel Aviv, it is.
Tel Aviv's the new Miami. You heard it first.
It's an amazing, under normal circumstances, it's an amazing place. But of course, the argument of the Israeli government is that the reason they're having to fight multiple wars on multiple fronts with multiple countries is because they're under constant threat. But you didn't get any sense of that.
Didn't see any missile interceptors in the sky, Clav?
Well, there's always rumblings and there's always media about the ceasefire ending with Iran. I think that was around the time of my trip. Actually, that occurred the day that we were planning to fly into Israel. So that definitely called into question the safety, but it was a bit of a nothing burger. And my time in Tel Aviv was, extremely well received. The locals there were extremely nice, and I had a good time.
There were some bits of it which weren't quite as positive, I guess. One was when you were interviewed on Israeli TV and asked if you would apologize for the Heil Hitler video incident, because you were there, obviously.
I felt like I was talking to you again. You know what I mean? I didn't have my soundboard ready. I said I felt like I was talking to you again back in February.
Yeah, but, I remember asking you that question. And
regardless, I mean, I said all I have to say about that. So, once again, and I had an interview with Sean Hannity the other day where I basically said to him, how many times is this going to be asked in an interview? Is it until I'm 40 years old?
Nothing ever goes away once it's on footage.
Because there's really no statements and nothing new I could say. How about you focus on the positives, is what I said to the interviewer, that I'm over here, no one else is. And quite honestly, like, really, that's the hill you're going to die on, is attacking me, someone who's in your country, to represent it in a positive way. You really want to come after me? Like, come on.
Well,
I think there's bigger fish
let me
to fry
let
for
me
the
play
Israeli.
let me play devil.
He's got a great point. There is much bigger fish to fry. He's not the one. He got caught up with that. He doesn't need to make that stain upon himself. He doesn't need to repeat it over and over and over again. It's a very unfortunate situation he's in with this.
Devil's advocate. I'll play devil's advocate because you called it a poor journalistic tactic. If you're going to be negative and talk about all situations that aren't positive, I don't want to talk to you. You left the interview. Now, I as a journalist, I would say, look, come off it, Clavicula. You're going to Israel, right, which is almost exclusively Jewish people, right? And the last thing that anyone really was aware of you in terms of a big news story was the Heil Hitler.
Whoa, are you saying it's an apartheid state?
No, I think the argument might be that Gaza is.
Do you want to make that statement on the air?
But
anyway,
I'm not saying it's. No, I think you misheard me. I'm just saying that. Let me ask you the question, then you can decide. My question would be this: I don't think it's a poor journalistic tactic, given what happened in the Miami nightclub, given that Heil Hitler, Kanye's song, was the one that caused so much offense because it was being played and all you guys were there. It's an obvious question when you go to Israel with so many millions of Jewish people there. Obviously, the media there will, in an interview, would have to ask you about it. Why would you get so defensive? Why not just say, you know what?
It's just done. He's only one man. He can only explain himself so many times before the media should kind of just let it go, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.
What happened was terrible. I shouldn't have.
Well, I've
sat there and just.
I've said all I have to say about it because really they could have played the clips from my entire media run that I've done, hundreds of different interviews where I've been asked the same question and it's been the same answer. I had nothing to do with it. And so
why did
really
you give it? Why, out of interest, I'm genuinely curious. Why do you have
any more questions? Do you have any more questions besides the Miami night that was 7 months ago?
I do.
Do you have any more questions?
I do.
So why don't you go with them? Let's get some new content.
I'm gonna get some new content. I can give.
All right, but could we just call it on that segment and that line of questioning?
I'd like to ask
because I really think, and people have said this to me quite a bit, is that we could actually get along well, and I think we would. I
don't disagree. I don't disagree. Listen, last time I interviewed you, my daughter who's nearly 15 at a French school in London, came out and said all the kids in the school were talking about our interview. Now that's a French school in London talking about me interviewing a young 20-year-old guy as you were at the time in America. I found that an extraordinary cultural phenomenon. Right, so let's
move on to the good questions.
Yeah, we will. I've got plenty of good questions for you. My final question on that point, and you can choose not to answer. No, well, hang on.
You just won't let it go. Just keep nattering at the man.
Okay, no answer and don't read it. You're just trying to go for I'm
not reading anything. I'm not reading it. It's just something that came to mind.
Poor Clav. Poor Clav dealing with this man.
Can I ask you one more thing about it without you losing your shit? You don't want to ask one. You don't even know what it is.
No, I'm just.
He's done.
Going to interrupt you. I'm not going to answer it in good faith, and I'm just going to interrupt you because I've said all I need to say.
That's going to do it for this one, guys. What do you think? I think Clav probably mogged the hell out of Piers Morgan there. Kept asking the same question a little bit different about 15 times in a row. Doesn't that get quite annoying? Is he ever going to be able to get past that moment in his life? What do you guys think? You let me know down in the comments. That is the Future News Network conclusion to this episode. And I will see you in the next one.